Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the SonicView XP Learning Center. So the SonicView XP series offers a lot of customizable options. In this video, we're going to be digging in on that topic a little bit more and show how we can customize our layer keys to maximize our workflow. To the left of the master fader, we have our layer keys, which we can customize quickly and easily. So let's dig in on that and take a look at how. So first, let's enter our main menu. From here, we're going to go to the front panel setup, and now we have our layer master fader setup, and we're going to touch that. And now we are brought to this screen where we can see two different tabs up at the top here. So layer key setup, and this is basically the default setting right now with the layer keys come in. So we've got channels 1 through 24 on layer 1, 25 through 40 plus the 2 stereo ins and the effects return on layer 2, mix 1 through 22 and the main left-right bus on layer 3. Layer 4 is our DCAs, and then we've got some custom layers down to layer 7 here. So next to that, we see custom layer setup. So let's touch that. And here we are brought to this menu. So next to the custom layer setup tab, we see custom 1. So this is our first custom layer. So if we click on that, we see that we can get around and we can use this to create any of the customs 1 through 7, which we can then save into the unit itself. At the bottom of the screen, we see we have 3 banks. These are just graphic representations of each 8-channel bank on the SonicView 24 XP. If you're working on a SonicView 16 XP, you're only going to see 2 of these. And then we have our master fader right here. There are many benefits to creating custom layers. So I'm going to use something that I consider to be a great real-world example, which is going to be drums. So I like to use this because in productions, when you see bands, there's almost always a drummer. I would say 95% of the time. Plus, we tend to use a lot of microphones for drums, so that kind of helps this all like tie together. And obviously, you're not limited to just this, but this is my particular example. So we're going to take and assign some stuff here to this 8-channel bank. We're going to use the drums, and I want to set up my layer 5 with a custom layer so that when I click on that, I'm going to have basically every option I can hope for drums and the drummer and drum mixes. So up here at the top, we've got our 8 channels of drums. So we have our kick, snare, all of our toms, which there are 3. We have 2 overheads, and then we have our hats. So that's 8 channels. So that's going to fill up our bank right here. I want to select some other things that I know are going to happen here as well, that the drummer is going to either need or where the drums are being sent. So I am going to, right here, we can see we've got our stereo ins. So our drummer plays to a click. That is coming over on stereo input 1. So I'm going to click that. Also, our drummer has a pad where he triggers samples. The SPDS, which it's labeled here, I'm going to touch that as well. We've got a couple of different effects on our drum kit. We've got an overall kit reverb, and then we also have a nice little delay on the snare for some added depth. Now over here on the side, obviously we've been working on these inputs, but we also have a bus DCA section. So I am going to touch that, and now we have some additional stuff going on here. So I'm going to touch this Mix 1516, and as you can see, this is labeled drum bus. So I'm now adding that into our custom setup. So that's going to be shuttled around. I'm using that group to shuttle it to different mixes. So if we need, I can just raise or lower that. Now for our drummer's mixes, here's a vocal bus. So I can raise or lower that so he gets more or less vocals. A guitar bus, so they get more or less guitar. And then we have backing tracks being flown in for our band. So we've got our backing track bus, which I'm going to touch right there. And then we've got some DCAs. DCA 1 controls all of my drums. So I am also going to select that as well. Now from here, what we're going to do is click Apply. So Custom 1 was just applied. So there we go. We've got our Custom 1 now. I'll do it again. You can hear it. And so this has now been applied to Custom 1. So we're going to go to our layer key setup over here. And now we're going to assign that. Now it just so happens that Custom 1 already exists on there. But if you wanted, you just touch that, and then you can go through any of these different customizations here. So Custom 1 again, let's apply that. And then I want this to be a different color. My drummer goes off of this green color for most of their tracks. So let's use that. So now I have this set up. Let's exit out of this menu. Now let's hit layer key 5, because that's where we stored this, right? Boom, hit that. You can see this turned green, which is what I selected on that screen. And now across our channels here, we see we've got our mix for the drums here. Pull our overheads down a little bit. Maybe our toms are a little loud. So is the snare. Hi-hat, pull that down in the mix. So this is really easy to get to for this drum scenario here. And just like when we're looking at, if we're looking on any other layer and we select a channel, it's going to pull that channel up automatically on the screen on its 8-channel bucket. So anything that I did here was not selected on this. The second bucket here, channels 9 through 16. So we don't have anything assigned here. We could certainly assign some things here though. But right now we're not using this one. We come over here and now here's our click. We have our drum trigger pad, the SPDS here. We also have, you can see our kit reverb, our snare delay, our overall drum bus, our vocal bus, which is going to our drummer. Our drummer, they say they don't want as many vocals. They want to bring that down, so we can just pull that down. And the drummer also says, oh, I need a little bit more snare here, so we can pull the snare up ever so slightly. We have our guitar bus. They want less guitars. Backing tracks, they can't hear all the synth parts. They need those. They want those up. So boom, we can pull that up. And we've just now created this custom layer. Now this is just like a really easy example of all of this. But as you see from the screen earlier, you pretty much have the option to do just about anything that you really want to do as far as assigning tracks go. So this was just where my head went to. Working with bands on a live situation. But whatever the production you're doing, whatever you need to do, this is a great quick way to just scroll through some different setups here and really create whatever it is that you need. So we hope you found this super helpful on creating these layer keys, because it's just going to make your workflow so much more smooth and just less stressful overall once you get all of that set up. So stay tuned for more videos in our Sonic View XP Learning Center. There's a lot of great stuff coming up, so make sure you dig in and become the best engineer you can with the Sonic View series. Thanks.